Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. We will begin today by offering condolences to 13 brave hearts killed in an unfortunate accident involving Chief of Defense, his wife, soldiers, and other army personnel. When CDS Sri Bipin Rawat was Army Chief in 2019, he oversaw the security of Jammu and Kashmir during the critical period. We are dedicating today's prayer song by Subhadra Sridhar to them. Subhadra is a Carnatic musician from Pune and a disciple of Vidwan Sri Delhi Sundarajan. She is guided by her grandmother, Srimati Sharada Janakiraman. She also learns abangs, bhajans from Srimati Shashikala Shirgopikar from Pune. Subhadra has been performing in December season since 2017 and in digital media and won several competitions and awards. Best Senior and Junior Vocalist Award from Sri Shanmukananda Sabha, Mumbai, and a few more. A B grade artist of All India Radio, she is currently pursuing a bachelor's in design degree from Shrishti Institute, Bangalore. Over to you, Subhadra.
मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजेत्रीं मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजेत्रीं मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजेत्रीम् आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजेत्रीं मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजेत्रीं जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते जनको देवः सकलदयाळु जनको देवः सकलदयाळु दाम्यतदत्त दयध्वं जनता दाम्यतदत्त दयध्वं जनता श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानाम्.
Sarji, please unmute. Sarji. Please unmute.
start all over again.
No, you can continue, sir.
Hello, can you hear?
Shankarji, just close your laptop camera and open your iPhone camera.
Hello.
You can.
Can you hear? Hello, can you hear?
Yes, yes,
Can you hear me?
yes,
Can you hear? Can you hear?
yes.
Hello.
Please proceed, sir. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Problem இருக்கு. Thank you, Subhadra. We will see you again soon. We thank Sri Kanchi Mat for our ongoing initiative and offer our namaskars to His Holiness Sri Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal. With his blessings, we continue with our Kashmir Cultural Heritage Awareness Lectures. Today's session is our 17th and by Professor Rakesh Thussu. The topic is Sharada Temple, Trials from the Family. Dr. Rakesh Kumar finished his bachelor's in biology from University of Jammu, master's in human genetics from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, and PhD in genetics from AIIMS New Delhi. During his PhD, he received numerous awards for his work and received the postdoctoral fellowship from Washington University School of Medicine, and then moved to Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas in November 2009. During his postdoctoral tenure, he pioneered his research in the field of DNA damage and repair. He published more than 30 papers during his postdoctoral period. The love for his soil brought him back, and he joined as assistant professor at the School of Biotechnology, Sri Mata Vaishnava Devi University at Katra. This place is close to the shrine. In the last 8 years, he received numerous grants from various funding agencies worth crores of rupees. He monitored more than 50 masters and 9 PhD students and produced about 30 high-impact research publications during this period in the field of DNA damage and cancer. He has conducted numerous camps in Jammu and Kashmir and made people aware about the causative factors of cancer and their prevention. He firmly believes that lifestyle modification lessens disease burden in the population. Now, he is originally from a place called Laddervan, and his forefathers had land and business at Sharda. Before I hand over to Professor Dr. Thussu, let us see where this place is. Just 1 second. We will just get that to you. Can we see that? Can you see that? Now, if you see His location is here, Ladder Van, and very close to Sharada Peeth. So we identify some of these places here. Abbottabad and Srinagar are all at the left and right. Now, this map is not going to show any borders. This is taken from, say, 30,000 feet above. This is just to show the relative locations of Sharada Peeth from Ladvan, that is place where his forefathers lived. Now, over to you, Professor.
Okay. Am I audible?
I'm not able to hear you.
Uh, am I
Oh, yeah,
audible?
okay. Yes, now okay.
Okay.
You want
Uh,
to see that map again, or
no, I just copied your map into my presentation.
okay,
I
okay.
Okay. I just wanted to.
Were you able to hear my intro?
Yeah, I was able to hear you. Before that, your voice was not audible, but I heard it. It was not necessary to necessary, but that's
A lot
okay.
of people would like to know about your background. In any case,
So I thank Kamakoti TV and much for inviting me. And I am no expert in religion, or I have no other experience except that I was born in that family. Uh, I'm a religious man, but I am not a learned religious man. So I was born in a family who, luckily, unfortunately, were the only family who used to take care of the Sharda shrine. My forefathers, my grandfather, my father was born there. My uncle was born there. So they all know. They were, though they were very young at the time of partition, because as you had already shown the map. Can I share my presentation? I've just made a small presentation.
please.
I think it's not allowing me to upload the file. It's saying that there was an issue with your file. Let me try again.
Or you want to forward?
Yeah, I can forward it. Do you have an email ID?
You can do on my WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Can you?
Yeah, let me try it. If it should. I think it has already come. Yeah,
Oh, it has
responding.
come. Okay.
Okay. I
Oh,
think
okay.
this.
It's coming. Good, good, good. Yes, we can see that.
Yeah, the some animation part is not able to. It's not able to show, but that's
I'll,
okay. We
yeah,
don't want to. We don't want to lose the time. Hello. I think I have lost the host.
oh, okay.
Sorry, I think there is some
Yeah,
kind
it's
of a
okay now.
network. Yeah,
Okay.
okay, okay. That's okay. Okay, I what I named was that it's my family file. As I already told you, my family. There were only two families who used to take care of the Sharda shrine. The one family is the Thussus, that is us, my forefathers, and they used to take care of the Sharda shrine, along with one family who used to be the priest at the temple, and those two families. I mean, by 19, if everybody remembers, in 1947, the this part of Kashmir was not with Pakistan. That was a part of India. But the tribals and Pakistan army attacked India, and in the meantime, they were able to take hold of this land from us. And during the raid on the temple, my grandfather and Swami Nandlalji, I'll be showing his picture to you. He's a very revered saint of Kashmir, and few of the other family members, they were inside the fort in the Sharda at that point of time. This is all what I have heard from my grandmother. And they left as soon as the tribals attacked them. They left the fort and traversed through the different mountain paths and came back to the other part of the Kashmir, which is on the other side of the Kishan Ganga. If we again go, if we again see this map, if you again see this map, you can see the Ladar and the Sharda Peeth, both they are divided by a small river called Kishan Ganga, which Pakistanis they call it River Neelam, but its actually name is Kishan Ganga. So this is the river which separates today's Indian Kashmir and Pakistan occupied Kashmir. That is the small river which separates it. So they crossed that river, came towards the Indian side, because our house was situated in the Ladar one. It was one of the very big palatial houses, and it used to have more than 200 horses, and it used to have fire pots. If you remember, there are Kashmiri fire pots called kangdis. It had more than 400, 500 kangdis there, all for the pilgrims. These all the horses and mules, they were all for pilgrims, to carry the pilgrims from Ladarwan to Sharda Peeth. And in between, when I was telling that there was a Kishan Ganga in between the two. At the time when they used to reach Kishan Ganga, it was not possible for mules and horses to cross the river because of its flow. So there was a small bridge, which was a hanging bridge made up of ropes and wood. It was not possible for the ponies to cross the river. They used to cross the river on foot at that point of time. So, hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just began. I'm listening to you.
Okay, okay. So, ponies would take up to them up to the Kishan Ganga, and if they have a heavy load, what they will do is they will put a rope on that load and drop that load into the Kishan Ganga, and the another people on the other side will tie that rope up and bring that stuff on the other side, and then the laborers from that side would take that to Sharda. This was a course, normal course. As my grandmother would said that in our family, my great grandfather Shri Tikalal Thussu and Shri Nandalal Thussu, uh, and we are lucky that because of that their seva, two hillocks were named after them, called Tikka Bal and Nandabal, because Bal means hill in Kashmir. So two hills were named on after them, because they did a lot of a yeoman service to the pilgrims, by giving them shelter, by giving them food, and taking them along with that path to the Sharda. My forefathers used to do, how could they manage it? Because they were doing a lot of business. They were selling spices and condiments through all of that Pakistan occupied Kashmir, Muzaffarabad, and up to Afghanistan, Peshawar. They had huge business interests in that area. And with the advent of Sharda Peeth, because everyone knows that Sharda Peeth was the ancient time university. It was one of the biggest learning seats of all the Hindus of the area, particularly the Kashmiri Pandits. So they took care of the shrine because there was no Hindus were left at that time, and they took care of the shrine along with other family. They used to pray daily at their family. I wanted to show you one video, but I was not able to download it. That is one of my friend from across the border, who is a very, I mean, a devotee of, I should say in other language, is he's a devotee of Ma Sharda. He's a professor, Khwaja Abdul Ghani. He usually uploads a lot of very valid and a very good information regarding Devi Sharda from across the border. He's my Facebook friend, and I have taken a video from him, and you can all, are you able to see the video?
Yeah.
Are you able to see the video, sir?
Not it. Not it. It's only the map there.
Okay. So let's not waste on time. I think there is some problem with that. I had a video of the Sharda temple and how Sharda looks. If we see it now, nowadays there are stairs which, when once you reach Muzaffarabad and the Sharda, from there you take a small 1 or 2 kilometers right to that temple. Then you have almost 350 to 400 stairs made of pure stone. You climb up the stairs and then you reach the Sharda temple. Nothing is left there. Everything is gone. So there's not much
The
left except the
Professor,
center.
the period you're referring to is about 100 years ago at least?
Uh, uh, which period? The when I'm talking
Your,
about my
your great grandfather.
I'm talking up to 1947.
Oh, okay, just before. Okay.
1947, at the time of Indian independence, when Pakistan attacked Kashmir. So that the time they came towards the other side of the Kashmir, because they were
Okay.
forced by those people to accept to convert to Islam. So Swamiji, who had already an force, thought that there might be an attack. They already left that place. They left the place, and in the night they came back to the present part of the Kashmir, Indian part of the Kashmir, because in this part there were a dominance of Hindus. They thought that in this part there will be less damage. But I don't know if people know or not. But in 1947 there has been a huge damage of property and loss of life in the northern part of Kashmir, because there are a lot of tribals. They attacked Kashmiri Hindus, killed them, raped their women, and looted their wealth, burned their properties. And we have heard a number of stories from our relatives that this happened to them or their families. In our village also there were few other families, Kashmiri Pandits, who were killed during that time. But by the time Indian armed forces came to Kashmir, I mean, they were thrown back, but they were not able to take back the part which they had already claimed. That's now which is named as Pakistan occupied Kashmir, that part of Kashmir where Sharda lies right now. So the Kishan Ganga became the default line of control for both the nations at that time. The Kishan Ganga river between the Sharda Peeth and the Ladar one. The Kishan Ganga river became by default, it became the line of control for two nations. So in the melee, we lost such a beautiful shrine, our ancient traditional seat of learning, that is Ma Sharda's Peeth. Now coming back to the present time, nothing is left. It is written. They have written, Pakistan government has, the government of AJAK, they have written that this is a sentence totem. This is for Kashmiri Hindus, and this is a Hindu property. But I have seen in the videos that people go unabated. They use shoes. Along with the shoes, they go inside the temple. They have nothing is left of that except the stone structure. And now there is a guy named Ravinder Pandita. He's an engineer by profession, and he's working very hard, very hard. He has started an organization called Save Sharda Committee, and he's working very hard for the establishment of the Sharda Peeth. I think only this week only he established a temple at Titwal. The Titwal is the map you are showing. The map. The
That
Titwal
line.
is a place just next to line of control. Is a place where he has already done Bhumi Pujan for the temple. He has done Bhumi Pujan for a Gurdwara also. So there are a substantial amount of Sikh people there. So he has done a wonderful service. He requested one of his friends from China, an Indian origin Chinese, to a Hindu, to come from China to go to Pakistan occupied Kashmir and do a little puja. Though he was not allowed inside the temple complex, they allowed him to do a little puja just next to a little stream. But yes, he has one good thing. What he has done is he has made people to people contact. So there is a lot of people to people contact that local people of Sharda, they are helping to divulge information and do some kind of ritualistic things there. Coming back to my family, uh, what I told you was by 1947 every one of them left Sharda Peeth. What was left with us? We were left only with the memories of that place. Though we still have the papers why we show that we are part of that place. We have been designated as a refugee from Pakistan, and we have the land records and everything. Recently we also got compensation from government of India for that land, but though little, but yes, we got the compensation. And this was such an important part of that pilgrimage, this leather one, from Srinagar to Ladharwan and then staying there for overnight, having food, getting the food packed. So my grandmother used to say that we had number of laborers who used to do only this type of work. They used to pack food for all the pilgrims, put a fire pot for them, and after the fire pot, they used to start their journey next day towards the Tichwal. So I'll show you. These are the inscriptions which were found. Nobody has been able to yet read what is there. Probably they are in Sharda script. They have been recently found there at the Sharda. So this is the Bhumi Pujan what I was talking to you about, the Sharda temple, and at the Titwal, the Sharda temple, which is very near to that site where you can also see the Sharda temple on the other side of the border, though very faintly, but you can be able to see it. So this is the name. This is the photograph of Swami Janakinath Thussu. This is my grandfather. He was very instrumental in establishing the puja paddhati and shrine back to the normal at the Sharda Peeth. He was a disciple of Swami Nandlalji. You can see the photograph on the right. Swami Nandlalji, he was a disciple of Swami Nandlalji, and Swami Nandlalji was the person who was a very learned and a high spiritual leader who came back from Srinagar and stayed back at Sharda and did a lot of spiritual course. He was disciple, as you remember, I already told you once that he was the disciple of Swami Lalji, which is on the left, who was a he was known as a disciple of some mutt in Tamil Nadu. I'm not sure which mutt, but he was probably a disciple of Shankaracharya, but I'm not sure about that information. And he was disciple of that. That is how Tamil Nadu is connected with Sharda Peeth, and how he was instrumental and he did a lot of sadhana at that point, at that place. So these are the pictures which every, I think this is a small temple. If you look at the pictures, there's a small temple on the Indian side of Kashmir in the village Guglusa, that's also named as Sharda temple. It is almost 4,000 5,000 year old temple. It's a small temple which has been damaged by the time, because no Hindus live there. And it's a small temple. You can see all the dilapidated condition of the temple right now. We just went in. This is the pictures in August. This is my father and my brother and my other relatives. We went to this place. We tried to fix. We did a little puja at that place, but it needs a lot of repair. This is a temple. It has this temple has inscriptions and settlements prior to 3,000, 4,000 years old. There's a lot of Sharda scripts which have been found from this temple. Now this is what's the condition of this temple. You can easily see this way. And now this is a temple. This is a Kheer Bhavani temple at Tikkar. This is very, very important aspect of this presentation. That what is this temple for? After coming back from Sharda, Swami Nandlalji settled down at this place. He told the local pandits of this place that this will be the place which will be where the prayers will be done. And this is how the prayers are done. And this is the temple complex. This is managed by CRPF nowadays, so that those CRPF camps is located there. So this temple is in good condition now. But the other temple, which is the oldest temple, it has 3 streams running together, and that temple has already broken. There's a lot of bad condition of temples in Srinagar, whole of the J&K. Only few temples are in the right condition. All other temples have the same condition what Sharda temple of Pakistan has. So it's something which I told you from the perspective of my family, that what goes in Kashmir.
So the destruction took place some 70, 80 years ago then, temple destruction.
This temple, the one I showed you?
No, the previous, Sharda.
Sharda, actually that temple was already desiccated, I mean 200-300 years back. Then it was again started. Then they again started the temple. And but because some pandits were living there, I showed you a picture which was original picture of that temple. If you see this one, the picture on the right, this is this picture of 1902.
Oh.
So 1902, this is a picture of temple. You can see this is not a very good condition of the temple, because this temple was built some 2,000-3,000 years ago. So the temple was not in a great condition. But yes, there was puja was going on. Hindus were living there. They were going. The yatra was there was a regular yatra. So because of the yatra, the revenue was also coming. So they were managing the temple. And now this is the right on the left side. This is the temple which is present day temple. I mean, because of the difference in opinion and the difference in the faith, this temple has been damaged beyond repair now. I mean, it has been desecrated, it has been damaged. So the park of the temple is being used as a picnic spot. And I think that's a very, very bad example. This temple is in really bad state.
So the yatra was by pilgrims all over India, right? They are coming
all over India. That's why I showed you the Swami Lalji of some mutt who came there and went to there. In fact, there was one from I'm not sure about, there was one guru from a particular mutt in Tamil Nadu who stayed at Sharda. Who stayed at Sharda for 3 to 8 weeks and did a sadhana and then vanished. Nobody knew where he went. So that is also some stories there. And why I know these stories is because they all happened to pass through our house, and my forefathers, they did manage about part of the yatra.
So how far is Ledwan from Sharda Peeth? The distance some 50 kilometers?
45 kilometers.
45.
40. I heard about. I mean, at that time it was 45 miles. So probably 60, 40, 60, 70 kilometers. From Kishanganga, it's 7 7 6 7 kilometers. Up to Kishanganga, it might be 60, 55, 60 kilometers. It used to take 2 days to reach Sharda from Ladharwan. One and a
Oh,
half day, 1.5 day on ponies, and then another half day on foot after crossing the river Kishanganga.
so
So
obviously pilgrimage was during summer months, winter
yeah, only summer
not
months.
possible.
Only summer months. Winter it was not possible because winter is so harsh. Winter is still harsh. I look at me. I'm wearing Farron. I'm wearing Farron, having a heater right now. Even I'm in Jammu, not that place. So it's still cold. Winters are very horrible and harsh in this part of the country. So at that time, it was not possible. It was only in the summers. Summers they I was listening to a lecture from one of the learned scholars from Himachal Pradesh University. He was working on a Sharda script, and what he told me was that Sharda was such a big seat of learning that rishis and munis from all over the India and all the scholars used to come and learn things from Sharda Peeth. It was said to be such a big seat of learning at that point of time. It was an ancient university, and they are trying to revive the Sharda script, the script original script in which Kashmiri is written. They're trying to revive it because we are all ignorant about it. Being Kashmiri, we don't know. Nobody taught us. But if they revive it, we would like our kids to have a knowledge about that script.
See, as you probably would have seen, today is our 17th program, and the
Mhm.
earlier part we briefly touched upon Sharda Peeth. So we're actually waiting for this, and if you go back and see in some of the lecture series, we talked about this briefly.
I will definitely go back and see those videos. I have been a little busy, though not fruitful, but a little busy. But I'll go back and see. I am very much interested. You will be surprised to know. I'll show you one photograph. Uh, that photograph is not here. That the professor from Kashmir, the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, they have written books on Sharda now. They have given such a
Oh,
beautiful picture. They have written books in Urdu, and I have got one copy at my home from for that book. They have done extensive research in that part, and they have written books. And this is something divine, which I will say, uh, something divine, which is giving them this inspiration to write books about the Sharda. So I think, I mean, I have not read it yet. It's in Urdu language. I'm trying to figure out somebody who can read to me. But yes, they're doing it, and I think that's one of the commendable for them to.
but nobody is allowed now, right? That's what the Save Sharda mission is all about.
No, nobody is allowed now. Actually, we that's what Ravinder ji also is saying that, and we want before we die that we want to go back to that place, like the Kartarpur corridor. We want government of India to open one corridor from that place, which should directly take us to the temple complex. We don't need anything else. Just we request Pakistan government also to open a corridor for Kashmiri Hindus so that we can go to that place. You will be surprised to know that there is already a cross border trade is going on. There's a cross border bus also which starts from Kashmir, Indian Kashmir to Pakistan Kashmir. That people travel in that bus. So the Kashmiris, the Muslim Kashmiris, they travel from this part of the India to the Pakistani part, but Kashmiri Hindus are not allowed to go. So that is some kind of a that's that's not some kind of a bad experience which we had. I don't know why they have done it. We don't have any other reason to go to there except the temple. So that is one request which we had to both the governments, that please open a corridor for us. Let us go. Let us visit the temple. Let us will help rebuild it. That's something which we can do, and that's something which we will do if we are giving a chance. We'll go back and rebuild the temple.
You mentioned that somebody is helping you who is from that neighborhood, sending pictures,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sharing. So, what is it taking place there now in the temple? They're just safeguarding the place or
No, no, no,
maintaining
nothing,
it?
nothing. No, nothing is. I said this is just they have just made it as a picnic spot. People are roaming around, having their food and fun and everything, taking pictures. Along with the shoes, they are going inside the temple. This temple is not covered. Temple is open, broken, so there is nothing left actually to that except the temple structure itself. There's nothing left. I have seen the latest video, and I can tell you that the temple is really in a bad shape. Except the whole big structure of the temple, it is intact, though intact, but not maintained properly. That's I think that's expected. You cannot do expect much from the government of Pakistan regarding that. They have not
So there
been.
is not much difference from what we see in Martan Temple and this one.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The Matan temple and this one, they are in exactly same situation. I went to Marthan temple last year, last year. I went to Marthan temple, and it is not in a good condition. It is they're still. In fact, government of JNK has also made it a public park. People go and sit in there and relax and chill and have food. Like whatever food they want to have, non-vegetarian food, they can have it there. Then they can go and they use their shoes. They use their shoes also to go inside the temple.
So I'm sure somebody from the other side is watching these videos.
I
What would
hope so.
be your message to them? Won't that help people to people contact and won't that be a good diplomacy and maybe build a temple for people to travel? What would be
If,
your message?
if this message gets across the border, I would like to tell them one thing, that we have no other interest in your place except the temple. We would like to rebuild the temple. That's a cultural heritage. We would like to rebuild the temple, and let us rebuild the temple. Help us in getting back to the places. That is a joint cultural. That is our joint heritage. That heritage does not belong to only Kashmiri Pandits. That belongs to all the people who have originated from that place, whether whatever religion we have. Tomorrow we can have different religions, but we belong to that religion, belong to that place, the origin, the soil. So let us um, allow us to get back to our soil. And as I told you, it's my familial place, but I would like all Kashmiri Pandits from across the globe to come and visit that place, and let's make it again a big seat of learning. That's one message I would like to put across. I think there are some people who are trying to do people to people contact, but we need more contact and more frequent contact and better relationships so that we can go there. Like all other people who are going, Sikhs are going to Kartarpur, and Muslims are also going across the border through the bus. Some of them are staying in India for marriages and all those things. Why not Kashmiri Pandits? Kashmiri Pandits should also get their due, and we should also be able to go there.
No, I'm sure there are a lot of temples the other side, but
Yeah.
this temple occupies prominence, right, among any other temple that we know of or
There,
mentioned in the books.
there are other temples also. There are some temples which have been maintained, and there are some temples which have been destroyed fully. And this is one temple which has an ancient relevance. 3,000-year old, cut through stones, made by Pandavas, and there's so many relevances. It still stands there. So I think this has more relevance to the Kashmiri, common Kashmiri heritage than any other temple which is has less um, which is less historically important. I'll rephrase my sentence. I'll say this temple is historical monument. This is historical importance, and this temple is a joint between the two parts of the nation, two nations. So this temple can be uh, once established back, it can serve as a great inspiration for two faiths to connect to each other.
So I'm sure there are still few Hindus left on the other side. They're not taking any action on this, which would be
I
a possibility, right?
Yeah, you are absolutely right, but I hardly think there are any Hindus in Pak occupied Kashmir. There are Hindus in other parts of the Pakistan, like Peshawar, Karachi, Sindh, but I'm not not I have heard of. Might be, but I don't think there are. Sorry, I don't think there are, and I haven't heard of any Hindus in Muzaffarabad, particularly that Muzaffarabad area or the Sharda area. I have not heard of. You'll be surprised to know. I just reminded me in the Sharda temple complex, just next to it, there is a place called Yam Hair. Yam is for Bhagwan Yamraj, and hair means steer. It's a notion that this place has a staircase directly to the place of Yamraj, the Dharamraj. These places are all named after gods. There is a Ganesh Bal where there is a small waterfall and there is a statue of Ganeshji. Then there is another hillock which is named as Narda Hill. Narda is called as the sister of Mata Sharda. So it's another hill which is named as Narda Hilltop. So these are very culturally, historically, very very relevant parts of our culture. So this is we would like to see that part of that culture getting back to us this day or any other day. And I think Ravindra Pantaji is doing a lot of service in that way. He's working very hard and he's talking to people, talking to politicians across the border, inside the border. He went to Kartarpur also. This is what information I got. He had recently visited our home also. He had some chats with my family members because, as I told you, they were the direct descendants of that area. So I think we must support him. Rather than having a different platforms, he has already started a platform. Let us support him, and I think he's the right man for that job. And if we support him, he might get us through. And he's very
So his
dedicated.
ultimate mission would be to rebuild the temple at some point in
Yeah.
future.
First and foremost mission will be to go and visit that temple. And though rebuilding is in process, we will start, but we would like to first go and touch the soil of the temple. We have to bow our head at that place. I think that right we would like to have. If first thing we would like to have is to have that right to go to that place, bow our head and touch that place and come back. And then we would like to build that whole complex, whether only a temple or a university or whatever place. That cannot be done without the positive affirmations from the government of Pakistan. But yes, one thing they can do, which is neither a loss to anybody, is that allow us to visit that place. Once we visit that place, it might bring down some tears, it might bring down some emotions, but yes, that will be very very close to our hearts. I mean, that is what Vatican is for Christians, what Makkah is for Muslims, Sharda is for Kashmiri Pandits. And I think I like to make that statement. That's a Vatican, that's a Makkah for us. Give us back, let us visit that place, make some efforts. I mean, politicians are the right now the only people are the politicians who can have a say in that, because it's a cross border issue. If it would not have been a cross border issue, it would not have been a political issue. It is political issue. So politicians need to step in and help small people of a small community to get back to their roots.
I see one question. Can you see that on the screen now? Is one by
Ganga River, known by other names like Madhumati and Chandali, given in the Sthala Purans. I have no idea, but uh, I haven't heard about it. I I only heard about the name Kishan Ganga. Maybe some learned person who knows Purans and knows the places can give a better answer for that. I better not give a wrong information. I have no information.
there's another question.
Mhm.
Sir, do you have the picture of the Sharda idol which
We
your
I don't
forefathers kept?
Yeah, I don't have the picture. My forefathers don't have a picture, but I have a picture, but I cannot show you right now. But I will definitely share it with you, which you can share with the audience next time. I was not able to get this laptop, but I have that picture, and that's a very beautiful picture from that place, and I will definitely send that picture to you.
No, Professor, there could be a possibility that you will make some progress and maybe you can come back and update us. Instead,
Yeah,
I
sure.
appeared in December. In 6 months, this is what happened,
Definitely.
and maybe I visited the place. We
That
can
would
do
be
that. There is another question here. We tried to go in October 19, went up to Patika, 100 kilometers away from the temple.
Yeah, I think this is the
One,
same guy I was talking to you about, that some people, some person from China went and they
oh,
prayed there
Hong
next to
Kong
Ganga.
maybe. I think he's from Hong Kong. He
Yeah,
is in
Hong
touch
Kong.
with
Yeah,
us.
yeah, Hong Kong. Yeah, Hong Kong. That's I was telling you about the same story, that some person went from, I mean, Hong Kong and then prayed there, and it's good that they. And I think I bow my head to you that you have uh, been to that place, close to that place. I would like to hear from you directly what actually happened that you were not able to go directly to that place and to the temple. What why they prevented you from going to that place if it you were just 100 kilometers away from the temple?
We have
I
another
would.
message in praise of you. Happy that this lecturer has put forward a concrete proposal. I think that
I
was your.
I'm happy that if this proposal goes through, I'm just a small man. I have I cannot say much. I haven't done much for that cause, but I will definitely like to raise this issue whenever I meet somebody, high dignitaries, and then they always talk about this, that we must go there, we must visit that place, we must go and touch our feet, touch our head to that.
I don't think this is correct. There is no single Hindu in Pakistan. No,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not.
what I will think. Yeah, there's no single Hindu. I haven't heard of any Hindus in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Rest of the Pakistan they have, but not in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Rajuji might know it properly because he already went there, so he 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 can tell about that. I'm so glad you brought me in, and I talked to people
No, but
and
I'm
not.
sure, Professor, I'm sure that there is going to be an update as we continue in 2022. Maybe you can come back and tell us what has happened. Maybe you'll get an opportunity to visit
Yeah,
and
I'll
be
be
in
glad
touch
to
with the
share that.
government.
I'll be glad to share that news with you if there is something like that. My passport is ready. If even they want a passport for that also.
But foreigners, any other nationalities, you mentioned that Hindus are not allowed, or something you mentioned earlier. They
Yeah,
would
because
allow
through bus,
us tourists.
yeah, through bus they are not allowing Hindus, but Muslims are going to that place because they're. I just told you they're doing regular businesses, and they're going to bus. There's a bus. There's a regular cross LOC bus which goes from Kash, Indian part of Kashmir to the Pakistan part of the Kashmir. But I have not never seen any Hindu traveling in that bus. And somebody was telling me that Hindus are not allowed because they don't have anybody, any relative on the other side for staying and anything. And probably they are not getting the permissions, required permissions to go that.
There is another message. Hope you put a plan together as a proposal to Indian government.
We I think Shivani ji, I already told you that we must strengthen the hands of Mr. Ravindra Pandita. He's already doing a lot of work, and I think he has put it across all the platforms and across all the proposals to Government of India for opening the Sharda corridor. I was talking to him a few months back, and he told me that he's already talking to Government of India for putting a proposal. He just, I mean, last week only he has put up a block, Bhumi Pujan for a temple complex near LOC, near LOC. That's called the Teetwal, a region, Teetwal. He has put, I will talk to him also if he has not done it yet. And I think that's a good suggestion. We can help him do it. But I think he has already done it.
So
It might be
it's all Ministry of External Affairs, is it? When it comes to ministry?
Yeah, Ministry of External Affairs.
There is another message here. Was there any village near Sharda temple?
Yeah, there are a lot of villages near Sharda temple. Sharda itself is a village. Then there is a village called Neelam, and then there is a village, one or two villages. I don't remember their name, but there are a lot of villages, like 7 or 8 villages near the temple. Near the temple, there are villages there. Like I already told you about Yam Hair and Ganesh Bal. They're all different parts of that village. These villages. They might be surprised that I actually have never visited that place. So whatever information I got is one of the, I already told you, one of the professor from across the border who uploads most of the videos and photographs, and I have an interaction with him. That's why I get a lot of information, and some of the information I had from my parents. And my grandmother used to tell there was a very beautiful lake called Muktasar, very beautiful lake which used to have a divine intervention at that time. They used to pray on the bank of that lake, Muktasar, at that there. And from that Muktasar lake, there used to be a small stream which used to flow from that Muktasar lake.
Anyway, it was a good informal session, Professor Thussu. As we continue in 22, we would like to hear from you more. If you have updates or you want to come on our program and talk anything related to Kashmir.
Sure. Definitely. Thank
So
you.
We want to thank all our participants today. Like support from Kamakodi.tv is streaming this live, and also through the Kanchi Kamakodi YouTube and Facebook channel. And India's leading Tamil newspaper, which is Dinamalar, has given a huge publicity for your program today.
Thank you.
I must have sent you that's in Tamil, but
Okay.
Dinamalar takes a lot of interest in these activities that are concerning national integration. And as we always say, Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So thank you very much for appearing in our program. And please watch our earlier programs. And if you want to suggest any speaker, also you're most welcome. And let's stay in touch. Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So we thank all our viewers who joined our 17th lecture session today. We will continue in January too. The programs are getting finalized. We'll update you soon. And once again, we thank Kamakodi.tv and VDSP for all the streaming services. We also would like to thank few Kashmiri Pandits who are helping us, mainly Virendra Kasiji, who appeared in our program on Kashmir Saivaism. He actually gave 2 lectures that you can go back and then watch. He will also be appearing more. We will we are planning more such programs in 22 and working on that, and we'll keep you updated. So we'll sign off now and see you next Saturday.